Nice.
Welcome everyone. This is Claire Zhang. I am the head of marketing and communications from Stratos. Thanks for tuning in for today's chat. Let's just wait for another 1 or 2 minutes to let everybody in. I can see that we do have quite a big group of people are joining us for today's Twitter space. Thanks again, everybody.
Oh, by the way, Claire, will you guys be going to any event for the next couple months?
Our team will be in Miami for the Web3 Miami, as for right now, and there might be other trail plans.
I see. So for that one, it's end of November, right?
Exactly, yes.
Oh, nice. We'll be there as well. So very much looking forward to meet the team.
Awesome. So I do think a lot of people already joined on time, so maybe we can just get it started.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So hello, everyone. Thanks again for joining this Stratos ecosystem talk with Blockless. So joining us today on this Twitter space are Bin, founder of Stratos, and co-founder of Blockless, Michael. So they will be share and discuss some of the most exciting Web3 infrastructure developments they are working on. Recently, Blockless and Stratos announced a strategic partnership to collaborate on Web3 infrastructure development and education. So we'll also discuss this partnership in more details later on. Hi, Ben and Michael. We're very excited to have two of you today. Could you maybe start by introduce yourself and your project first?
Oh, shall I go first?
Okay, Mike, you first.
Okay, thanks, man. So hello guys, this is Mike. So my crypto journey really started in 2017. When everyone's using Coinbase to buy like the Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and then mining Ethereum, right? So that's how I started during the ICO craze. But later on in 2018, I joined the finance team, right, and was there for about 3 years, where I mainly worked as a researcher on the finance research team, doing post-listing, pre-listing, all kinds of project research and due diligence. Also, if you go on to research.binance.com, you can see most of the publications before 2021 are written by me. And later on, I left the company and to work on something more meaningful, I would say. So later on, luckily we met the team that we have right now at Blockless, and we have been working on that ever since after. Bing, do you want to go next?
Yeah, cool. Thank you, Mac. Thank you, Claire. Yeah, my name is Bing Zhu. I'm the founder of the Stratos. Probably someone already knows. After I graduated the university, I started working in the carrier operator industry. Then I moved to Canada. I started to jump deep to the Web2 company. In Web2 company, I built a huge platform relevant to big data and a lot of distributed systems across the world. Then I started working with AI. Before Stratos, I was co-founded an AI company in Montreal. Then I started thinking in Web2, there are so many infrastructures which could get a lot of websites to benefit from them. Then that's why the Web2 is getting bigger and bigger across the world. But in crypto side, there's still not much infrastructure could help the crypto industry to getting bigger and make it more scalable. So then we want to transfer some technical knowledges from Web2 to Web3. Then we start the Strato, want to build, the purely decentralized infrastructure to help the crypto world getting bigger, stronger, and let more people can jump to this industry. Yeah, that's it.
Thanks, and Mike and Ben for this brief background introductions. Definitely, both of you have a long-lasting technical background in both Web 2 and Web 3, and we cannot wait to hear more about your insights and all those years of experience. So since both of the two projects are focusing a lot in regards Web3 infrastructures or decentralized infrastructures, so before jumping into all the details about the two projects, I would like to ask first that when building Web3 infrastructure and your projects, what are some of the key roadblocks you are facing as of right now? Bin, do you want to go first?
Okay, yes. Actually, Stratos, if we want to build a decentralized cloud, provide the decentralized storage, computing database. It's not only to crypto world, but also for the traditional business. Stratos contains blockchain, storage, computing, database for components for the developer and the user. So as user developer, you not only can use just one piece of them, you also can use all of them. You can play with Stratos as the Lego. What you want to build, you just choose which component you like. Since this is very technical and very complicated engineering project, we facing several problems of root lock. Something like scalability, stability. We also need to solve some uncertainty and decoupling some components. For example, right now in Stratos 4 test network, our meta layer could support from 1,000 to maybe 10,000. Right now, there are about 30,000 nodes working properly in Stratos 4. But in Stratos 5, even in the mainnet, probably we could have 500,000, even 1,000,000 SDS nodes to join the network. At that moment, how can we make sure the Stratos network is still working properly? This is scalability. We really to think about that. For the stability, sometimes the SDS node is not very stable, maybe because network issue, internet had problem, or maybe your server was down. So how can we verify your SDS node is down? Is because your personal issue or because of your network issue? So we will do some verification, validation, what's going on there. That also bring us some uncertainty. Also, this is really decentralized network. When you download our code, someone probably they will modify our code and to try to break in the node. So we cannot guarantee everyone is run the same version of the node, same version of the code, or someone just doing something bad. So there's some uncertainty always happen in a big network. So we also need to find a way to solve that. We will remove something uncertainty. We will reduce uncertainties using the consensus to protect the network, and also long connections or short connections. This is a little bit technical. For example, when you open the web page, you open it. When you want to jump the other page, this is short connection. When you open the page, they connect to the server, then they lose connection. They only connect.
Ben, I think we are losing a bit of your connections. I'm not sure if it's only on my end.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now it's much better.
Oh, sorry, because there's just a phone call coming. Yeah. So for the long connection and the short connections, Stratos is big. But it won't work with IPFS, Filecoin, or Array. It's big network. But each of the SDS and each of the Matter node, they always keeping very sticking to each other. If we keeping all the connection as long as possible to make sure if someone really want to play the video, want to listen to the music, want to get some data as soon as possible to reduce the latencies, we will using the connection we already built it to respond to your request as soon as possible. So all of this is root log, but right now the team is working on that one by one, step by step, and to solve all the problem. And I think in the main network is ready, even in the Stratos 5 is ready. Most problem will be already solved, and we will see. I think we will deliver a very good, high quality network in Stratos 5 and the mainnet. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. I think scalability is one of the commonly recognized problems in the whole Web3 blockchain industries. But I also have to say, having 30,000 nodes that are being connected properly is also a very great numbers to hear as well. Michael, are you agree with some of Ben's comments? Is this some of the challenge that your team are facing or trying to solve as well?
Yeah, definitely. I think many of the difficulties that we face, especially when we're all doing infrastructure projects, right, will be shared. From my side, though, I think it's mainly there's three different things I want to talk about. So I guess the first thing is I think as the industry continue to progress, right. So initially in 2015 we got IPFS and we also get Ethereum. And later on, when Ethereum get more and more retail tractions, I think the state of the industry and the direction is going, no matter we call it crypto or something else, is gradually getting out of the original way that we have envisioned, right? So originally, when we talk about Web3 or crypto in general, everyone hears a lot about decentralization, right? Everyone are very idealistic, but right now, as we have more and more retail adoption, the narratives are slightly shifting, right? I mean, recently you see not only talking about DeFi is good, but then we have all kinds of retail participations in say the metaverse narrative, NFTs, which are something we never really envisioned, right? And during these explorations, we often find that people are chasing for utility first. Basically, they don't really care about the application or services being trusted anymore, and also just in general that people feel that this is something new we can work on, right? So the narrative and the intentions behind the so-called Web3 projects nowadays have shifted a lot from building a trustless web. So, and this directly is also because, we need more of these infrastructure projects out there, right? Supporting people that wants to build truly trustless applications and services and really to lead to a free web, right? The infrastructure side is really lacking. And that is why, Stratos and Blockless, we're all working on this, right? The other thing I kind of want to talk about is, many of the things as we're working on infrastructure are never done before by anyone else or any other teams. So one of the challenges we face on a regular basis at Blockless is that oftentimes the open source code and open resources are not sufficient for us to carry forward, and we'll have to innovate on many areas ourselves. And I'll talk about the details later, as we're constructing this fully decentralized service platform, right? But in general, it's just there are many open territories that's never explored, and we as a team, as a startup team, right, that we want to shape, we want to deliver the most viable, most useful product as early as we can. There are some difficulties or challenges that we face, as we go on this route and really figure out, what are the things that we can do, what are the things that's more difficult. Yeah. And the other thing I really want to touch upon, this is a personal story, actually. This is not really about, Web3 or like infrastructure difficulties like the Blockless and Stratos will face. But rather a personal story about, how Web3 or the crypto industry currently is lacking infrastructure, right? So a few weeks ago, me personally, I was trying to send a transaction to another person, and then I basically did not realize, the receiving address is actually Coinbase, and basically I send BEP20 funds to that address, and then without realizing, he won't actually be able to receive it, right? So right now, just in terms of adoption, right, making Web3 more adoption ready. For this kind of circumstances, you would imagine, I as a person will be able to interact with another person, like a different identity directly without needing to, right, interact with his like accounts individually. Right now, the way it works is really, I would say, not very user friendly for regular folks, and I mean, even I could make mistakes like this from time to time. So I would say there's a long way to go for the infrastructure side to make Web3 adoption ready. Yeah.
I can't agree more. And also, while you were talking a lot of the points, I just keep nodding my head. I do personally advocate a lot in regards Web3 infrastructure or layer 0, not only because I work on a infrastructure project, but also because during a lot of my interactions with developers or builders, I do get this kind of firsthand understanding that they are also struggling between switching between the centralized server or compromising to a certain level of those centralizing like data lake just for the sake of keeping it up and running for the stage, because we are definitely lack of a strong or solid Web3 infrastructure, right? So my next question would be, as the two projects are both more building for developers, right, for builders, how can developers benefit from your project or your technologies? And I hope that you can elaborate more a bit more in details.
Yeah, I see. Bing, do you want to go first?
Okay, sure. My connection is okay?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay, great.
It's perfect.
Okay. Yeah, when we talk about the Web3, and right now everyone is talking about the Web3, but most of the project right now is really Web3. I don't think so. So for the developer and for the user, this is that NFT, GameFi, SocialFi, it's Web3. No, maximum I feel this is Web 2.5. That 0.5 is what? It's just the centralized application integrate some token in the public chain, and maybe Ethereum, maybe others. So maximum I consider is Web 2.5. But what's the other 0.5? Actually, it's the decentralized.
Of technical challenges over there. Let us just reshare the link and try to gather people back here. And we do appreciate that everybody come back to joining us.
Nice, we're back. Seems like we need a more trustless and more distributed internet service provider.
Yeah, this is something always happen in the centralized system.
Talking about wireless network, that's another topic that Bing can goes on and on and on. Maybe we'll have opportunity to touch base on that decentralized wireless later on at today's talk. But thank you for everyone's patience. Happy that we're back online. Just let us maybe just give another 1 minute to everybody to join us. All right, Ben, maybe we can continue the topics we're just talking about in regards how developers and builders can benefit from Stratos and the project and the services.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I just talked about the Web, not Web3, Web 2.5. The 0.5 I give to the token for the centralized application to integrate. But the other 0.5 actually is what we're building, the Stratos and Blockless. We're building its decentralized infrastructures. So what the Stratos can provide to the developer and users? We're building the storage. So the storage for the not only crypto world, for the entire IT world is 50% of the whole thing. You have CPU, you need to compute, but what you will compute is data. Where the data living in? It's in the storage. So, but right now everything is in the cloud, your local computer, or in AWS. But Stratos can provide the decentralized storage. Everyone knows we already have the decentralized storage like Filecoin, Array, and also several other solutions. But why right now in the industry there are no such project using much of the storage? Because they have them, but it's not very good to use, and a lot of people is complain that the performance, they're losing information. When they request, they take a very long time to get that. So, but Stratos, they allow you to store any kind of your information. It doesn't matter, it's small images, it doesn't matter several gigs, big file. It doesn't matter, it's just a transaction, or it's the video, or it's the audio. You can listen to the music from Stratos directly. You can watch the video from the Stratos as well, eventually. And you just need the SDK. The team now is working on the SDK. In the future, you don't need to run SDS node. You can directly to using our SDK and to implement your need. How easy you can use the Google storage or AWS S3? How easy you will use it? The only needed, you need to hold some stores. That's the only thing you need to prepare. Then you can start to use it. That's one. The other one good thing for Stratos is, okay, maybe you hold some stores, you will consume stores to your storage. But for some websites, for example, the video website, they pay for the CDN across the world. How much they pay? They don't care. They pay monthly. But if you're using Stratos storage to hold your audio, video, or any images, you only pay what you need to pay. You don't need to pay monthly. You only pay what transactions or traffic the people request. You only pay how many data you stored in your storage. You don't need to pay extra. If there's no one visiting your data, you don't need to pay for that, right? So in this case, Stratos storage also can help everyone, not only crypto world, also traditional users, traditional business owner, a lot of money. We think Stratos can help the traditional business user at least 90% of their cost. They only take 10% of the cost like before to run their same business. And the other side, sometimes Google have downtime, AWS downtime, data center have downtime, but your data is saved to Stratos. They will have multiple copies. This is across the different server, even different regions. If one node dies, your data still be saved. If something wrong with some areas, the other areas still can provide the service to you. So I think downtime will be less and the cost will be less. Also, the other important things, if centralized system, like 2 years before, their application called Dakhli. AWS just killed them in 24 hours. They just give that application 24 hours to see you need to leave. And then I shut it down. But if you're living in the Stratos, you don't worry about that because no one can shut down the Bitcoin, no one can shut down Ethereum, and no one can shut down Stratos as well. So this is all the benefit for the users and developers. And some traditional developer, they probably worry about, oh, this is a centralized system. I have no experience for that. So it's that easy? Don't worry. It's as simple as Web2. You just use the SDK. Yeah, this is the developer could work on that. But Stratos is not only provide storage. Later, Stratos will also provide the computing services. When you have video or audio on our system, on our storage system, if you want to encode or decode it, you can using our Stratos computing service directly. If you have an image of your NFT on Stratos storage, you want to preview it, you want to show the images on your own website, you can just call our API directly. You don't need the third-party APIs. You don't need the centralized system to host your services and access Stratos storage. You can directly, using our API service, call the information from storage. It's also as simple as it. Paste those, use SDK. It's not complex at all. Yeah, this is several cases. I will just stop here.
Oh, nice. Thanks for sharing. Yeah. And I think for us, though, there are various different kinds of infrastructure projects, and even if there are overlaps, right, oftentimes people come from different backgrounds, and people will have a different perspective and product design, right, and the services they really want to offer, and their respective different target user groups. So before I introduce what we offer to developers, I really want to give us a bit more context regarding why we built this in the first place and the reason why we choose to work in deep Web3 infrastructure, right? So I think the fundamental premise here is that we as a team all observed that in order for Web3 to truly prosper and grow into something that can consume Web2 and really offer whatever services and benefits that we enjoy from the web as we know today, relying simply blockchains will not be sufficient, right? So blockchains are very marvelous consensus engines, right? But exactly because of that, they're not so optimized or suitable for all the other tasks, right? They're not good for everything, so to speak. So basically, right now you see more and more applications, right? When they're trying to build more complex business logics, they sometimes will have to move off-chain, right? This is what in the industry people call the decentralized off-chain applications, right? The on-chain environment has some innate service boundaries. Say, you always rely on one single topology, the global consensus rate, which is not very suitable if you have high frequency and high volume requests, and also it's a closed system, right? There's no way for you to get outside resources, right? So for you to really build fully trustless services, such as say I build trustless VPNs, machine learning, I build a decentralized or trustless content delivery network, right? Imagine how would you build a decentralized YouTube? How would you build host a decentralized website frontend, right? How do you do all of those, right? There's no way you can achieve that with a blockchain alone, right? And so this is why we need specialized trustless infrastructures, right, to serve those needs, right? And for the industry, for us to really go to a fully decentralized web, a fully free web, if you make decentralization or trustlessness too hard for everyone, there's no way that people will go that route, right? So we really have to make the infrastructure easy to use, and the infrastructure has to be common infrastructure that anyone can leverage, right? For instance, Web2 really prospered when there are common or general purpose cloud services, right? So that people, they no longer have to build their own server warehouses, right, in the back of their office. So, developers and entrepreneurs, the teams, they can better focus on what they're truly good at, right? They can focus on building their business logic instead of getting distracted by needing to build out a set of infrastructure from scratch and then pursue their business logic, right? So one issue that we really observed back in the day is that, okay, since, Bing, you already mentioned we have IPFS, we have some other services, right? So there are some, although not perfect, but decentralized or trustless storage providers or services that people could leverage on when they want to build something, right? But for execution, there are not so many, right? For execution, typically what you see is people have to build their own trustless node network based on their community, right? So this introduces a number of issues, right? So the first is that it's a lot of operational effort, right? You'll have to continue to engage with the community for the years to come. And second, not all teams can afford to hire P2P developers and to afford the headcount and afford the energy to work on something that is not their core business logic, right? The team's gonna die, right? So this makes the whole operation less viable. And last but not least, if you're purely relying on the community, scaling can be an issue, right? The boundary of the services that you can provide or how good your services will be is limited by the size of your community, right? That is your boundary, so to speak. So all of these may, building purely trustless and complex applications that will truly bring Web3 to where we want it to be, very, very difficult, right? So at Blockless, what we're thinking is, okay, so there are already storage solutions. Why don't we just tackle the execution part, right? So the original idea is really to, have a global pool of nodes, right? And then we do a Uber-like matchmaking between the nodes and developers or their incoming requests, the functions they want to deploy, right? So the whole developer experience will be serverless. So if you imagine a fully trustless version of AWS Lambda, right? So you as a developer, you can just throw in whatever functions you want in your favorite languages, and you can define, okay, Blockless, I want 50 nodes, and I want those nodes to be of this hardware spec, and I want them to be in this particular geolocation, and I want them to form this particular node topology, or namely, how the nodes will be interacting with each other, right? So the developers, right, they can leverage what we have to really build out what they want to build without needing to manage all the infrastructures.
Yeah, that's great. Like what the current centralized system was doing, right? They're building the infrastructure as service, the platform service as Blockless, and then build the service that help the developer. They don't need to be expertise on any of layer of the services. You can give them the service directly so they can use it, take advantage of that to build let them to saving their resources and time to dedicate on their own business.
Exactly. And the key to this is that the whole system needs to be trustless, right? Otherwise, we will just become the bottleneck towards true decentralization or a free web. Yeah,
exactly. When we talk about the free web, we also need to think about the censorship. We also need to make sure everything, the user's information in our system, decentralized infrastructure, it won't be stolen and won't be modified by the other big guy, right? It's like I said last time, it's not your key, it's not your Bitcoin, but in the infrastructures, it's not your key, it's not your content. If everything you store to the Stratos, it's you keep your private key, and we can guarantee your data won't be modified by anyone else, and no one can just kill it.
Yep, exactly.
Thank you for helping us dive deep into some of the technical levels of what are the two projects are working on. And I also think because if we are all sharing those understanding about the essentials, having a very easy to use Web3 like infrastructure. That's, I think, kind of the reason why that the two projects landed on a strategic partnership. So in regard what we are going to build together, could you both share a bit on which part of the collaborations are you personally most excited about between Stratos and Blockless? Maybe Mike, you can start first.
Yeah, no, Bing, please go first. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Actually, when we just have the first conversations, Matt, I'm very excited about the decentralized web, free web. When we start to build a web page, we need image, we need HTML, we need JavaScript, a bunch of the other content behind this to call the web page. We are called them by the JavaScript and others. And right now, everything will be deployed with NGX, Apache, but this is always decentralized. Sometimes we get 700 errors, or the other errors is the website was down, or some service was done because some centralized system have problem. So also because of content censorship, some website is also be killed. So when we have the first conversation, we're very, very excited about that. If we really can use Stratos to persistent how to store, for example, JavaScript, images, video, audio, and some source code, but also using the blockless to fully distribute them. When we go to the web page, maybe at the moment it's not HTTPS anymore. Maybe it's some new protocols. But when you put in the Explorer the address, everyone can access that, but no one can stop it. This will make me very, very excited. I think I really want to try to be the first user.
Yes.
When you guys ready, I really want to move Stratos.org to there first. Maybe any others, web page, I will move to Blockless. So this is bright future. Will be pure free web. That's the point. I'm very excited.
Ben, you're giving me goosebumps. Okay. So this part I'm also very excited about. So to elaborate a bit more, right? So right now in the crypto or in the Web3 industry, you see a few other players that one thing is, there are some folks that's working on decentralized front end, right? But the way they work with it is that oftentimes you store things on IPFS, and then because IPFS is very slow, which is a problem that maybe you guys are trying to solve, right? IPFS is very slow, and then you'll need to add, say, a decentralized cache layer on top of it, right? And then that's it, right? So they're able to provide a static web hosting, right? If your website is fully, static and there's no interaction whatsoever, it's read only. There's no way the audience will be able to interact with your website, and the website doesn't change. So that's what it allows you to do. But that is only about, 5% or less percentage of the web that we enjoy today. And for most of the website, if you think about, right, if you go onto Facebook, if you're gonna go onto Twitter, right, all the pages that you interact with are dynamic, right? So how do we do that in a fully trustless way? So storage is of course one part, right? So the content will need to be stored somewhere, right? So this is something we're especially excited to partner with Stratos about. So as Stratos is offering a more specialized and in some aspects more advantageous solution compared to the existing ones, right? We're first of all very excited to really integrate Stratos' solution to our platform, so developers on Blockless can directly tap into the services that Stratos can offer, not only for decentralized dynamic hosting, as Blockless is offering the raw compute power or allowing for decentralized rendering and serving. So basically, what allows for website to be dynamic, right? But also, on the other hand, more generally, when developers are deploying serverless functions on top of blocklets, right? They might have different choices, right? Say, I want to store this thing not on IPFS, right? Which of course IPFS will be one of our primary partners. If the developers want, they can, according to their specific business strategy and logic, use multiple other storage providers, for instance, Stratos, to really help them bootstrap their business and build faster, quicker, and more efficiently.
Thanks for sharing like a concrete use cases for these partnerships, and I'm sure all of the audience and including myself are very excited for us to keep building together and keep working together. So before I open the floor for questions to the audience, I would like to pose one last question that so are there any newses or updates about your project that you are able to share with our audience today?
Oh yeah, sure. For this one, I'll just go first. I guess right now, for Blockless, we're still early, but we have been pushing for some steady deliverables. So one of those things is that we're pushing out the Blockless functions, private alpha. So basically, imagine using a fully trustless version of Lambda functions, right? You as a developer don't need to worry about the underlying infrastructure, so you can just deploy and let it run. Right, and right now, because we're still pre-mainnet, so everything's free. So if any of you guys want to come here and try out the functions or the services that we offer, please contact us via our community channels, and we'll add you to the whitelist.
Okay, from Stratos side, we will deliver the Chops 5 in November, and as you know, the Chops 5 will be almost fully functionality, which is very close to the mainnet. We will deploy and test it in November. After a couple of weeks, when the Chops 5 working properly, the third party will start auditing the code based on the Chops 5. They will auditing SDS node. They will also auditing our Matter node to make sure, and blockchain source code to make sure everything is going well. Then, after that, we will go to the mainnet. And during we prepare everything to the mainnet, we will also working with the centralized exchange and decentralized exchange and some cross-chain. We're working with them to find the solution that our community too easy to swap the token. Right now, our token is Ethereum ERC20 Stratos, but then we will using the different way that you feel that you choose change it to swap the ERC20 token to the Stratos. And because when you want to launch SDS, when you want to staking your Stratos token to get reward, you must have native Stratos token, not ERC20 token. But in the meantime, we won't kill the ERC20 tokens. So we will keep the bridge always be available. If some people still want to trade the Stratos token, the current ERC20 token, it's no problem. But if you want to use it, you want to stake it, you must have the Stratos coin in Stratos chains. After that, the team will also, after the mainnet, team also will focus to working on some use case. We don't want to deliver, the infrastructure. We also want to do some useful use case. For example, we really want to do some simple version of the decentralized email system. We also cooperated with some community to build the video website, and we probably also could deliver some easy solution for the NFT storage. I mean, you want to issue the NFT, you want to mint the NFT, but where's your asset? Maybe audio, maybe MP4, MP3, or maybe others. You can use the SDK directly to store them and use API to retrieve them from the Stratos. So that's some use case come after the mainnet launch. Yeah, that's
nice. Nice. I mean, that's some amazing progress, and I really want to just also say that, you know, given all the progress you guys have been making, you know, we're super excited about the reliability and fault tolerance that your network and your platform is offering. And to us, you know, as a pure execution layer, you know, having access to a decentralized database system is very, very meaningful. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, that's our full strategy. You know, when we start the Stratos, we are thinking about that, right? In the world, we have ICP, we have RPFS, but I'm thinking why we want to make it in the same packages, because computation storage is better in the same package to getting lower latency when they retrieve the data and write the data, also reduce some complex when they create connection to each others. That's why we have storage first. So user see, oh, you have stable storage, so I feel comfortable to save my important data to your place. Then that data will generate some computation request organically. So I have data, I need to process them. Then the computation business is coming. And when they start computing compute some information, they always get some useful result. Where the result I could save, especially some schema data, right? So, okay, you have data, you have computing, you get very valuable information where you can save them. Okay, database is coming. So that's the narrative we want to keep going.
Yep.
Amazing. So we definitely look forward to hear more exciting developments ahead of us from both two projects. So for everyone interested, please do make sure to stay tuned or follow both Stratos and Blockless on our social channels. So now I would like to give the floor to all the audience today. And if you have a question to raise, please just request it and I will pull you on the stage so that you'll be able to ask a question. I think everybody's still probably like processing a lot of hardcore technical informations that you two have shared with us during this talk. Definitely, I think Web3 infrastructure overall as a big sector do have still have a lot of education to do, right? Because people are generally attracted to some buzzword like DeFi, social fi, NFT. But when it comes to infrastructure, oftentimes people got stuck by some of the complex jargons or complex of the technical terms that some people may not have a knowledge before. So the opportunity like today that you're able to help us guiding those through are definitely also very important for us to continuing not only building but also educating this whole space. Seems like we do not have anyone to ask questions. So I think we are about to conclude today's Twitter space. So for everyone who weren't able to join us from the beginning or who didn't able to catch up on this through this new link, we do have this Twitter space recorded, and we'll also be posting the whole Twitter space on our YouTube channel as well for everybody to review. Thanks again, Bin and Mike, for joining us. Let's definitely stay in touch, and we can't wait for what's ahead for both of us.
Nice.
Claire.
Yeah, thank you for hosting.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. Stratos is very excited to cooperate with Blockless and especially in the bear market. let's build together for the long term and to build the pure Web3 for the whole world.
Yes, Ben. And bear market is the best time to find the true builders and continue building together, right? Super glad to have everyone here, and thanks again, Ben and Claire, for hosting this and having me.
It's a true pleasure. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.
Okay,
Thank you.
See you guys next time. Yep, bye-bye.